Hey there, welcome to episode 138 of the FFS Talk audio program. I am your host, Dan Hugo. We're recording this at 12:26 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time here in the Greater Vegas area on Thursday, July 16, 2026. We normally publish new episodes of FFS Talk audio programming on Thursdays, often in the morning, not always. Today's title and topic, LinkedIn. I've been on something of a tear. I'm fast running out of patience, and LinkedIn is no longer doing what I would really like it to do. I've been a LinkedIn user. I signed up in, I'll mention this again, but I signed up in 2003 when they launched. I've been on it the whole time, and I think it's time to look elsewhere. I stopped posting my own content there. I don't really interact personally, more for business, but that's my some background on this title and our topic rather, and the associated title. So I'll just put that right up front there. I'll mention it again. The FFS Talk audio program, if you're not familiar, is designed to engage in conversation, discussion, debate, argument, hopefully no fisticuffs when it comes to particular topics. The idea is eventually, someday, down a road that has no end, to have a guest or guests who would have an opposing view or a different view, at least. The format is essentially what works, what doesn't, and what could we do about it. That doesn't facilitate the debate or argument side of it so much, but it is the context to start that. So we would establish those three things. So without a guest, I just monologue the three things from my perspective, and then somewhere down the road, if somebody wants to tackle a topic already published, by all means. Everybody's opinion could be different. That's what we would find out. You might have better ideas than me. I have to go turn off the air conditioner so you don't hear a buzzing or a humming or some noise. So hang on a second. All right, we're back. Sorry for that. You'll probably hear a little bit of noise, a little bit of noise. It doesn't filter. I would need two different filters. I normally filter out ambient noise, but the air conditioner adds extra noise, so it's just easier. All right, so back where we were. So if somebody were to join as a guest, there would be differing opinions, maybe different ways of solving or addressing something. That's the whole idea, is to have a utilitarian conversation that might result in some sort of possibilities. So there you go. The FFS Talk audio program is named for an expression, at least the FFS part. If you're not sure what it means, go hang out with some Irish people. You'll pick up on it pretty quickly. Hopefully, wherever you found this audio program, you're able to locate the episode description, which contains a brief summary, which contains the show notes, which includes a brief summary, I should say. I don't have this part written down, so it's just from memory. The summary, which I'll read to you, it's fairly brief. It's 2 reasonable sentences. And then the links for today's episode. I pondered including a link. There's a reasonable article from quite some time ago. I think it's called the social network we could have had, but we'll save that for implementation time. We'll probably talk about that in the Let's Innovate for Vegas audio program and or Cafe Genius Impresarios. But today we're just going to rail on LinkedIn a little bit. I think it's time for us to kind of realize that LinkedIn is not so great. So here we go. Here's the summary. A lot of people use LinkedIn, allegedly around 1.3 billion with a B registered users worldwide. That is shocking. That is a lot of people. But how many of them respond to your outreach? Probably none. The links, as usual, there's nothing new here. There's the 2 links, FFS Talk homepage, ffstalk.com. Some might mistakenly think that's FF Stalk, but no, ffstalk.com. And then the profile page linking everything, buymeacoffee.com/Dan Hugo. It's been around for over 5 years. You are not expected to pay any money. If they offer a free freeform profile page. It's not awesome. Their production by Street, even more noise. Their editing tools could be better, but it's minimally viable. So there you go. You'll find, as well as links to, well, first of all, some biographical information, links to all of my various audio productions. Maybe I should say media productions. Hang on a second. Sorry. And some projects, some of the projects I'm working on. And I keep saying this, I got to update that. I really do. I have to make sure. I don't know if there's anything massively new to, you're not missing out on anything earth shattering, but I should, try to keep it current. It is 5 years old, a profile page. It has been updated many times. Probably could use an update now. You'll find some affiliate links. You are welcome to click on some of my favorite coffee beans that I drink regularly. The Nasal Fresh link. I do use the Cash App from, what's his name? Jack Dorsey, from one of the founders of Twitter from back in the day. So I use that all the time for groceries. And is there another link on there? There might be. So those are things I actually use. If you care to, you can click on those. You can buy me a coffee if you want, but you are under no obligation. And that's about it. We do publish the Buy Me an Update audio program first, no longer exclusively, because that's where the name came from. First at buymeacoffee.com/DanHugo/posts. And then 2 hours later, it's published to the other usual places. Buy Me an Update is a 5-minute or less rundown on the previous week's audio program topics and news and announcements upcoming. So that's it. That's all you need to know. Don't forget also Coffee Solo, but I haven't recorded that in over a week, and it's getting silly. I need to so many thoughts. I need to get them out onto the Coffee Solo track. So here's some random facts to get us started. After I get a water here. LinkedIn, the company, was formed in 2002. The LinkedIn platform itself launched in May of 2003 in the interest of disclosure, or maybe just for more personal context. But so I do use the platform. I signed up with LinkedIn, the platform, in August of 2003. So I've been there almost the whole time. In these early days, LinkedIn was essentially a live business card. So once we were connected, then you would see where I'm working. And then if I changed it, it became more useful as more former colleagues, maybe some classmates, especially from college, current colleagues, of course, began to use it, and we began to find each other so you could connect. I don't remember exactly when various features were implemented over the years, so I may be giving it more credit earlier than it deserves, but the really useful part of LinkedIn, and that continues to be true today, is where do we know each other from, or we knew each other from, company, whatever, and whatever happened to Joe from wherever. You see where Joe's working now. So the live business card, the updated contacts list, essentially is what it is, and I think that is probably the only part of LinkedIn that I would keep if somebody asked me, like, if you could remove everything but one feature, I wouldn't even think about it. So the living business card is essential and valuable. It would have been super valuable during the Silicon Valley.com boom. The platform launched after the .com boom, which means that somehow the many new things which emerged from the many people working and changing jobs all the time, I was one of those, and founding new companies in Silicon Valley and elsewhere, were not using LinkedIn, of course. There was no LinkedIn from 1993 to about 2001. I say changing jobs. If you were working at a startup or a small company and suddenly they found they had to downsize, you would always want to have another job lined up. So somehow we survived without LinkedIn sticking its direct messaging in everywhere, its algorithms. Today, there are a couple of numbers which I will refer to now. I don't think I really get into the numbers otherwise. I thought I might, but a little bit. I will leave for you to verify, though. They can always change. So when you listen to this, they may already have changed. Who knows? So they may or may not be completely accurate. These are allegedly, or however you want to disclaim them. And over time, they again could change. Allegedly, 1.3 billion users have signed up to use LinkedIn around the world on the planet. More than 250 million are alleged to be in the United States. So India has a substantial LinkedIn user population. I know there have been tons of people in Dubai that do LinkedIn brand consulting and profile management and so on. So yeah, there's a lot of people that are jumping onto, as a business, jumping onto LinkedIn to see how many followers they get. Hey, I just crossed over 50,000 followers in 2 weeks. Okay, interesting. So 250 million, though, more than a little bit more. I think it's, I've seen different numbers. So it's 250 million plus are alleged to be in the US. Now, note that the US Census says the total population of the US, as of recently, 2026, probably January or maybe late 2025, is about 342 million people. I think it was 342.3 or something like this. 342 million people, with about 62 million of those people between 0 and 14 years, 14 years old of age or younger. So this population of 14 and under, technically 13, but population older than 14 then is about 260 million, which means that just about everyone of legal COPA age, that's the Child Online Privacy Protection Act, you're supposed to be over 13 to use internet websites and provide a contact address and so on. I don't know if LinkedIn constrains that to 18 plus. It's been a while since I've signed up with LinkedIn. But suffice to say that according to the numbers that are available, everyone in the United States is signed up for LinkedIn, plus or minus a couple million, not 10 million. So most people of legal age to use the internet are using LinkedIn. That's actually not too difficult to believe. No. Let me amend that. They're not using LinkedIn. They're signed up. They have an account on LinkedIn. Now I have 2 accounts myself. So who knows? Maybe it's half the number of humans, and we each have 2 accounts. Could be. Another one. Here's another tidbit. LinkedIn has recently been accused of presenting the most AI-generated content of any of the social media or social networking platforms that have a sizable user base. These are more difficult to make complete and objective, so who knows? I saw something that of content posted by the users of a platform of 250 characters or more, words or more, 41% of LinkedIn's content that's that size appears to be AI generated. So if you use LinkedIn, you've probably encountered some AI slop in your doom scrolling of your feed. So there it is. When I get spam or dubious direct messages on LinkedIn, they often have a sort of a feel that there's something automated going on. But I have also encountered, it's been a while, maybe they're getting better at pruning these away, but I used to get invitations from it was usually, they're going to profile everybody. So it'd usually be a woman in Singapore or a woman who was in Singapore but is now in New York. And they usually worked at Estee Lauder or for some reason so I would get invitations all the time to join networks. And, you look at these profiles and you're like, wow, you've been in the industry for 30 years and you have 1-2 connections. Interesting. So yeah, those are pretty easy to spot, but they're probably getting better at it too. So what does work with LinkedIn? And again, I've been using this platform 23 years and I've not liked most of that time. Sorry, what does work? Did I say what does not work? Let's start with what does work. LinkedIn was and continues to be a completely reasonable tool for maintaining and expanding one's professional network graph. In this case, a graph is a formal term. It's a mathematical term or maybe a topology term, but a graph, not a 3D topology term, but a graph, it's not topology. There's a different, anyway, it's not a stock chart. A graph here is the connections which exist between pairs of people. So the people would be the nodes and the lines between them would be the edges. That's a graph. Where on this platform, LinkedIn, the connections are two-way. If I connect with you, I invite you to connect, you accept the invitation. So we have accepted each other's connection, establishing that connection. So they're two-way connections. But then eventually, somewhere in there, LinkedIn added the ability to follow a person. So I could follow you and I don't have to invite you to connect. So if I could follow you and then you don't have to follow me, although you could. So we could each be following each other, but we wouldn't count as connected to each other. So neither of us would have needed to approve the transaction. So I don't invite you to, I can just follow you. You can just follow me. And as far as I'm aware, that doesn't imply the same thing as a actual two-way connection. In a professional or business context, this can be useful without becoming overwhelming. I'm going to guess there are constraints, or you probably can group messages by people that are following you and so on. So there's probably different permission levels for accessing certain features. It's been a while since I've delved into the subtleties and nuance of the LinkedIn platform. I just know that I don't like it. With the introduction of pages, this is many years ago, I think I'm going to guess that pages really became interesting on LinkedIn when Facebook launched pages. So you could have a business or some other thing and you don't have to become Facebook friends with somebody. So there was a period of time where a lot of these platforms were kind of mirroring each other. So follow instead of friend, follow instead of connected on LinkedIn. LinkedIn had stories for a little while. So there'd be little circles across the top of your when you were visiting LinkedIn, one of those, and there'd be little circle profile pictures and you could click on one and, oh, somebody recorded a short video story to tell people. And that lasted a couple of days, I think, before people said, what is this? Are you trying to be Instagram? Well, they are, but they didn't continue with stories. But it became possible to establish a profile page, not for you as a person, but your company. So it could be your startup or your multinational megacorp, doesn't matter. Then they added some nuance to that. So you could have pages or projects, or it could be a school or something. There's a variety. But these could all be kind of immersed in this professional networking environment. So who's following which, and your friends are following this, and people in your contacts, whatever. You could do all sorts of interest mapping. Right? Oh, you're probably interested in this because 10 people you follow also are following the McDonald's page or whatever. This was useful when people were keeping their LinkedIn engagement to business and networking, job referrals, and so on. But I don't know. I think business pages are kind of losing their luster, and they've definitely become a thing to promote if you get a certain number of followers. I think that's algorithmic, but also bragging rights, because a lot of the people that do that are trying to have you pay them to make sure you also have 50,000 followers or 100 million or whatever. So stars on GitHub, likes on Facebook, followers on LinkedIn. Since people signed up with LinkedIn, when they sign up usually, or sometime, they fill in something that is sort of a CV, a curriculum vitae, more than just a resume. A resume is something that you will probably alter and it'll be minimized, or, some people want a one-page resume. Some people want everything on there, but they don't put, so a resume is sort of a malleable concept. A curriculum vitae is usually a story of your life and your accomplishments, and it's usually for academics, but if you do research on things, so it's kind of like, here's the stuff I've accomplished in my life. A resume is like, let me take the CV and filter it down to the stuff that the AI that you're using to filter resumes will actually find interesting. So yeah, but somewhere in between there, LinkedIn provides a completely reasonable profile management, where you can, you type in I used to work at Supermac, and there's a chance that Supermac will be in their system because somebody else worked at Supermac. I don't know about Supermac specifically. I don't think that's in there, but so it's interesting that they now have a database of companies, and they can match you, and schools, colleges, and other schools. So they can start doing things like, oh, do you know these 25 people from Harvey Mudd, or these 10 people that worked at Apple recently, or whatever it is, right? So you both worked at Intel in the same time period. So they can make use of the resume at scale, or the data in your online version of the resume. And again, I don't believe they make it too easy to have variations on your LinkedIn profile. So, and I think people have finally grown to accept that. So if you send someone your LinkedIn profile, They're not going to say something like, well, can you just make it one page? If they want a one pager, then they'll just say, can you send me a one page resume? Whatever the case, I think modern tools, because people are no longer reading resumes, I think modern tools just say, oh, okay, we'll just put all this in the database and we'll go from there. Yeah, so it continues to be useful to find a former colleague based on your intersections on your background. And future employer referrals. Hey, I'm thinking about working at your company. Do you have a hiring manager? Or hey, former colleague from other company, can you hook me up with a hiring manager? There's all kinds of possibilities for referrals, or for recruiters to find you, which is a little bit more annoying. And then when they added job listings, however many years ago, now you have a direct connection between the job listing, the job description, right, that you're hiring, the hiring manager or the recruiters, the headhunters, or whoever is managing it, have access to a whole collection of profiles, so effectively resumes. So it does make sense to have those things near each other if you are searching for a job. I will occasionally get invitations to, hey, are you interested in this opportunity? Like 80% of the time they're bogus, and you can always tell those, oh, hey, if you're interested in this, give me your signal number. Yeah, right away, you just stop reading. We can have this conversation on LinkedIn, even though I hate having conversations on LinkedIn. What does not work? There are many things. Let's keep it to 3. LinkedIn probably always had an algorithm of some sort, right? That was becoming very trendy back in the day, back around 2003. Over the decades, it has become much more aggressive and changes now and then, so that there is a whole industry at this point built on optimizing LinkedIn profiles, pages, and engagement by way of posts and other content submissions and the whole thing. Make sure your post has a hook, 1 sentence, and then another paragraph, 2 sentences. Make sure you have 1-sentence paragraphs and spaces, but they have a whole collection of rules, and they always tune up. Oh, hey, here's how to best post your LinkedIn stuff every single day for 2020. It's kind of ridiculous. The algorithm has been known to use more and more signals to determine who sees what and from whom, which has the obvious effect of limiting what any person might encounter based on the interests of the algorithm and the platform. In other words, if LinkedIn wants to show you something, you might say, well, I didn't see that one post from Dan. Yes, but you saw these other posts from influencers who will modify your LinkedIn profile for you for a small fee, whatever, right? So their interests will probably take priority, which is a totally normal thing. If you've read Cory Doctorow's book on poopification, keeping it clean, you know of what I speak. So it's nothing new, but it does drastically and noticeably detract significantly from the utility we once enjoyed from LinkedIn. You're no longer seeing, it'd be nice, I think, and some people would find this off-putting because they're not used to it. Just show me everything that the people I follow posted, and then I'll decide. You don't have to decide for me, but they want to inject advertisement and paid placement that are not obviously sponsored ads and whatnot. This might be interesting. Here's something your other followers found interesting. All the little nuances that keep you on the platform, essentially. Now, for as many people registered with LinkedIn, the number of people who actually engage the platform is usually, it changes, but the number of people who engage in actually useful ways, especially given the rise in the use of AI on the platform, and the platform suggests that you use AI directly. Like, hey, do you want to improve this post with AI, or do you want to alter this image with AI, or whatever else they're doing on there? But at the same time, they don't want people posting generated AI posts, content. So some of the content may be created off the platform with other AI tools. It's not clear because I type my own stuff, including what I'm saying right now. So I don't know what they do about that, but allegedly they really prefer that you stay on the platform and use their tools, I guess. Sure. And they've had an arguable shift from professional networking towards social media. They're now really more social media than social networking or professional social networking, with a visible increase in Instagram-ish selfie posts. I see those all the time. If you gotta post a picture of yourself, whatever you're doing. Got to be at least one, and preferably then one with your laptop with a cappuccino and a avocado toast, whatever. I know several people who have a profile and have many connections even. I am connected to several, so I know them specifically that oh, wow, you got tons of connections. But they don't use the platform. They never engage. They just don't log in anymore. They don't connect with LinkedIn, and so they will not communicate with their connections there. You want to email them instead. So, and I'm headed that way too. Email me. Don't send me direct messages. Don't send me bogus job descriptions and asking for my Signal contact info and whatnot. So it's become sort of a pit, a steaming pile, however you'd like to, the visualization that works for you. Connecting with others on the platform can be useful. Okay, so I'm saying that again, even though we're talking about what does not work. However, making use, especially too much use, of the direct messaging features can be problematic at best. And I've mentioned a couple of spam and scam scenarios. LinkedIn has begun using responsiveness as an input signal for their algorithms, which seems like it might be an interesting thing. Like, oh, finally, I don't have to hear from you if you don't respond to my outreach. But wait a minute, I reached out to you for a reason, right? So I don't know what they're doing with that. I just read about this the other day, that they're now using whether or not people respond and to whom and so on as more inputs to their algorithms. That could be problematic. They should leave that under your charge, not whatever it is. This is another aspect of their chaperone placement in the communication chain. So, hey, I would like to contact someone on LinkedIn. Well, we're going to stand here and make sure everything is okay. Okay. If you are conversing with people, why not converse directly without LinkedIn in the mix? It kind of bothers me that they only have one email contact address, and 9 times out of 10, it's somebody's Gmail, which is fine. I mean, mine is Gmail, but it's either Gmail. Today I saw somebody with a Yahoo address. Come on. Are you really still using Yahoo? I don't know if people still have an AOL address on there, but it's weird. That should be like the fallback. If you're looking for me personally, or if I don't have a current position somewhere, but if you're trying to, like I was trying to contact someone with the state government today, the person's Gmail address was on there. I was trying to contact someone who works for legal aid. We're connected on LinkedIn, right? So you're looking at his he's got a Yahoo address. Like, really? He's an attorney. Somebody's got to sue that guy. Change your address. So there should be a professional contact option, right? Hey, share if you're looking for me in my government role, here's my address in my office at the government, right? And all that implies. So I just think that LinkedIn is trying too hard to get you to stay on the platform. No. Don't use their email address. Don't email them at Yahoo. Just send them a direct message here on our platform and we'll make sure everything's okay. So I'm not totally a fan of that entire concept, but I also think that people have lost the sense and sensibility of actually communicating directly with people. Got to have an Instagram account so you can, if you meet someone, give me your Instagram. Okay. Silly. The shift from professional networking to social media, it's very Instagram-ish. I mentioned the stories and all that. The direct messaging, which is also kind of has a feel like an Instagram or whatever. You're like, you got to have a LinkedIn account so I can contact you. Like, no. I've had email since I was a kid, almost. So they're using the responsiveness, which is a problem. Chaperone, don't like it. Can we communicate without having LinkedIn in the mix? The chaperone effect. Conversing directly keeps the conversation portable, which is another thing. If I want to add someone to a conversation, you can't really do it on LinkedIn. They'll only see the point forward, so they'll not see the previous conversations. And this is a privacy consideration. That's fine. I understand why they're doing it, but that should be an option that we can, like, hey, I'm going to add somebody to this email thread because we're talking about having a meetup or whatever, and having them in, we want to loop them in, as we used to say. So, and I don't know if they've added a feature to enable an unencrypted or privacy flexible messaging to add someone. Bottom line, though, these are problems that don't exist in other platforms like email. And if I want to change, I'm not using LinkedIn anymore, but we could still have our conversation because we didn't trap ourselves in a LinkedIn direct message thread. These are all moves towards privacy and autonomy. And LinkedIn doesn't need to be a part of anything. Everything, I should say. Or anything, really. Freudian. So what can we do about all this? What can we do? Production by Street. Remember business cards? Remember those? I think I still have some Intel business cards left somewhere. They're still in use, but the digital equivalent has existed for decades also. So you don't need to have paper business cards or whatever stock you're using. If you're a fan of the American Psycho business card scene, that is classic. There are cross-platform ways of sharing and managing these digital business cards. They're called V-cards, V-C-A-R-D-S, V-cards, which fit nicely with V-calendars. I think sometimes these are referred to as V-objects. Virtual cards, virtual calendars. You can attach a V-card to a V-calendar, I think. They're very simple. They're all text. It's just text files. They are supported across most, if not all, platforms you are likely to encounter in your travels. Google, Apple, in fact, is a major contributor to the iCalendar standard. Google, Apple, and Microsoft Outlook, of course, has set the benchmark for a lot of this stuff from way back. They've been using these for the whole time. So being able to send someone your V card in an email, most email clients at this point will pick it out and they'll add them to your contact list and so on. So these things work. They work just fine, and they've worked for a very long time. LinkedIn is still useful for this sort of thing to maintain contact lists and so on. But maintain your own contact database, right? Try to extract that information. Make sure you have the current email addresses. Updates are a thing. It's a problem that was solved decades ago, but LinkedIn has made it a little bit easier with a huge number of trade-offs. But sending out an update, like you literally could send someone your V card and say, hey, I've attached my new contact information for my new workplace. And again, most clients will pick that up. So all you have to do is send an email to your contact list that you want to send it to and say, hey, my new email address at my new company, bam, done. Communicate with people, not platforms. I'm trying to conscientiously do this as well. Reaching out via email or even picking up the phone now and then. I know I sound like call your mother. Pick up the phone now and then for closer contacts. That might actually be a good thing. It's a real thing that people still do. Less on the voice phone calling, but people really can reach out and contact each other. Ideally, you are able to communicate with any particular person in your contacts list, but and maybe via a voice call or a video call. These are commonplace now. Email, some messaging platform of your choice or whatever, but it doesn't have to be, you're not trapped in a silo owned by a mega corporation, in this case, Microsoft. Like, oh, you got to use LinkedIn. Or, do you have a LinkedIn profile? Why not? That kind of stuff. Like, we can move away from that. There are ways to have profiles online that we can share. Again, the social network we could have had. These are problems, or these are features or challenges, or these have been done, and they can still be done. And here's a little fun fact, a little bonus for lasting this long, because we have one more point and we're wrapped. The file structure, V-cards are easily parsed, so AI can probably make use of those immediately. But the structures that were in use back in those original days when the social network we could have had was already working, those are more AI friendly if you're doing agentic coding and whatnot, because it provides relationship information and specified structure to data. So rather than trying to read a paragraph, you pull down this data that has like here's a work address. It's literally structured data, and a business card is structured data. So there you go. So these are things that have been done, and they could be done, and you would need no LinkedIn in your life at all. Be open to new ideas is the final point I'll make, with decentralization catching on here and there. Mastodon, Blue Sky. I just read yesterday that X is going to be open sourced. We'll see how that goes. The notion that we can share our contact information with particular groups and then keep them updated. There are a variety of ways to do that without requiring that we all who want to be involved in a conversation make use of LinkedIn specifically or similar. Facebook got rich off the lock-in approach, but this practice has been around for a very long time before Facebook. But, oh, you got to use Facebook. I can't leave Facebook because all my friends are... Yeah, come on. Be strong. it is okay to own and use a tool. It's not as good when the tool owns and uses you. And that is where I'm going to leave it for today. Thank you for listening. As always, this went on for a little bit longer than I thought it would. I did not know the breakdown of LinkedIn. I've heard forever that LinkedIn was one of the bigger social networks. Not totally true. I think Facebook has double or more global registered users. But are they robots? Are they automation? Is it one person with 10 LinkedIn accounts? I'm sorry. Well, Facebook, whatever. You can, I think for Facebook, I think I had 3 different accounts or maybe 4. I don't use any of them, but they still exist. So I'm still in their system. Yay. So these numbers are a little bit, and then again, you're not going to reach 1.3 billion people when you post something on LinkedIn. You're going to reach 10 or 50. Unless you're paying to boost and all. So it's become a racket. It's a like, I just want, and Google does the same with search results, right? How come nobody's seeing my website? Oh, because Google's not giving the URL for your website in the first 20 entries on the SERP or whatever the number is. So there are ways to decentralize or to maintain. You can continue to use LinkedIn. I am not going to delete my account because there are too many people I'm connected to and whatnot. But I do try to make it clear, like my email address is correct in the profile. We have contact information on the pages that I maintain. So if you're looking for the Innovate for Vegas Foundation, on the page, it has, here's the website. And so all these things, you can make use of LinkedIn to continue to have some connections in place, but take back your presence on the internet and own your branding and own your contact list. You should be able to contact people you know without having to ask LinkedIn permission, right? Can I send this direct message? So that's where I'm going to leave it for today. Thank you for listening as always. And don't forget to do better than LinkedIn and call your mother. That's where I'm going to leave it. Take care and we'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.